I've had this thought on my mind a lot lately, and it's this question of who am I? Who are we? And why are we here? I think it takes a lot of for people to even come to this question. You ask the person who are they and they give you their name, but we are not our names. Our names are just labels. So who are we? Who are you? Who am I? And I had been asking myself this question for a while, and I went on the journey to figure that out. And I wouldn't say that I've fully figured it out, but here are some tips on how you can begin to open up that doorway and truly know thyself and know who you are. Because when I began down this road and this process, where I am today is a completely different person than I was before because now I know myself a lot more. And I know that there are certain triggers that I have, there are certain traumas that I had to get over and get past. But in order to know who you are, you first must remove everything that you're not. And so, what I mean by this is all of the programming that has been done from the moment we were born, from the moment that we were conceived, honestly. There's been a lot of programming, and there's a lot of in this lifetime, there is DNA that we also have to take into account. So, not only are we looking at our internal and our external environments as blockages in most cases to who we truly are, we're also looking at the fact that we live in a world where it's essentially designed to keep you away from your true self because once you begin down this journey of opening up to who you really are, you'll begin to see that a lot of these systems that are set in place don't really make any sense or don't apply to you because you now have an awakened sense of consciousness. This happened to me, and now I live a life where I wake up and I make it a mission to do the things that bring me joy and happiness. And not every day is like this, but at least in the grand scheme of things, I know that I'm working towards that desire, or I'm working towards who I really am. And that's really what this is about. It's about getting back to who we are. On the surface, we want to be able to remove a lot of these blockages or programs that we were essentially taught to believe. A great way to do that, and I mention this in all my videos, is through meditation, yoga, and just being able to sit with yourself and figure out what you love to do. What is it that you like to do versus what you were told to do? Another modality that I've used in the past has been plant medicine. And I'm not saying that everyone has to take a hallucinogenic or a psychedelic or anything of that nature in order to really truly figure out who they are. If anything, it's going to be time, and time is the most important thing here. But the message to you today is that you should get started right now because where we are heading is into a space and a time where people are really going to thrive off of just being their true selves. And I know a lot of people in the spiritual space, they talk about authenticity, and that's essentially what I'm speaking of today is figuring out who you truly are and acting from a space of authenticity. There's so many ways that we can talk about why this is so important. One thing I'll mention is the fact that when we're not living in our alignment or when we're not living in as our authentic selves, we tend to become sicker. We're unhappy all the time. And this may have to do with some traumas that we haven't solved or worked through or processed. But ultimately, if we're living in this daily cycle of not doing what it is that we want to do, then it just creates this sickness or this energy around us that is one of a lower frequency, if that's what you want to call it. But essentially, asking yourself this question of who am I and waking up and making the decision to figure that out on a daily basis is what we need to be doing now because we have to prepare for this time where those who are going to be the happiest are those who are living in their truth. And just keeping that in mind, I want to leave you with a few things that you can begin to do today. And keeping that in mind, just know that this is the time to start. The time to start is now. I just had to get this message out to you all. And if there was any part that you were kind of questioning, feel free to check out any other videos on my channel where I may have gone in depth about each one of these topics that I've mentioned here in this video.